You ever want to know the exact second your old life ends? For Lisa Jones, it wasn't a gunshot. It wasn't a break-in. It wasn't a scream in the night. It was her little girl answering a phone she was never supposed to touch and calling the most dangerous man in the city, Daddy. It started quiet. The apartment was still half dark. Cheap blinds, weak morning sun cutting across the table. The kind of place where every surface had a purpose. Rent wasn't late. Fridge wasn't full. Life wasn't easy, but it was stable. Barely. Lisa stood at the stove, stirring scrambled eggs with one hand, holding her coffee with the other. She moved like somebody who had learned to live on alert. Shoulders slightly tense, hair up, eyes always half watching the door. On the counter behind the sugar jar was a second phone. Not her phone. Not the normal cracked screen phone with the glittery case and Mia's stickers all over it. The other phone. The work phone. The phone she never let ring more than once when she was alone and never answered at all when her daughter was in the room. That was rule number 1. Rule number 2. Mia never, ever touched it. Mia broke both rules in under 4 seconds. The work phone lit up and buzzed. Lisa froze. It was too early. Nobody called that phone before 9. Not unless it mattered. Not unless something was wrong. Mia, don't, Lisa said instantly. Too late. Mia slid off her little chair and ran to the counter in her socks, her nightshirt hanging crooked off one skinny shoulder. 5 years old. Hair a mess. Face sleepy. Bright, trusting, unaware of danger. She grabbed the phone with both hands, pressed it to her cheek, and chirped in her little morning voice. Hello? Hi? Lisa's stomach dropped so hard she forgot how to breathe. Mia, she whispered. Baby, give Mommy the phone. Right now. Mia ignored her. She giggled. Mommy's making eggs. Lisa felt the air in the kitchen change. The way it always did when that phone rang. Cold. Tight. Like the room itself understood who was on the other end. The man. Her boss. The man she worked for but never looked at. Not directly. Not fully. Not long enough to make it feel real. The man everyone else called a criminal. Quietly. The name you didn't say in front of law enforcement or in front of people you didn't trust. Marco Kanti. She'd never said his first name out loud. Not even alone. She didn't get to think about it because Mia tilted her head and said it. Said the word that made Lisa's entire body go numb. Are you my daddy? Silence. Not on Mia's side. On the other end. Lisa had never heard silence sound like that before. It wasn't confusion. It wasn't shock. It was attention. Full attention. Lisa's heart hammered so hard she heard it in her throat. Mia, give me the phone. No, Mommy, it's okay, Mia said, covering the microphone with her tiny hand like she was telling a secret. He sounds nice. Lisa's vision flashed black at the edges. She lunged forward, grabbed the phone from Mia's hand, and pressed it to her ear so fast it hurt. I'm sorry, she said in a rush. Sir, I am so sorry. She's 5. She doesn't understand. She should not have. Lisa. The voice on the other end wasn't loud. It didn't have to be. Low, even, clean, controlled. He said her name like a calm hand wrapped around her throat. Yes, she whispered. Who was that? My daughter. I apologize. The phone was on the counter and she... You have a daughter. Lisa swallowed. Yes. I see, he said. He didn't shout. Somehow that was worse. She shouldn't have answered, Lisa said quickly. I'll make sure it never... She called me Daddy. Her mouth went dry. Lisa stared at Mia, who had climbed back into her chair and was happily stabbing her eggs with a plastic fork, like nothing in the world was wrong. She didn't mean... Lisa started. I wasn't speaking to her, he said. I was speaking to you. Lisa felt sweat bead at the back of her neck. Mr. Kanti, she's 5. She doesn't understand what she's saying. She just... Lisa. The way he repeated her name shut her up instantly. There was another beat of silence. Then in that same controlled tone, bring her with you today. Lisa blinked. I'm sorry? I want to meet her. Her throat closed. Sir, I don't think that's... Lisa. Yes. That wasn't a request. Her heart stuttered. With respect, sir, she's a child. She's not. You work for me, he said. You answer me. You show up where I tell you to show up. From now on, that includes her. 10 o'clock. You know the building. Her stomach was pure ice. I understand. The line went dead. Lisa stood in the kitchen, phone still pressed to her ear, hand shaking. Her brain sprinted. She ran through every possible scenario, every version of the next hour, and all of them ended in the same place. You don't tell a man like Marco Kanti no. You don't hang up and pretend you didn't hear him. You don't invent a reason you can't come. You go. Or you find out what happens to people who don't. Mommy? Mia mumbled around a mouthful of egg. Was that Daddy? Lisa turned. Her little girl looked up at her with total innocence, total trust, total belief that the world was simple and kind. Lisa's voice came out thin. Baby, no. That was Mommy's boss. You, listen to me, okay? You can't call him that. Ever. Do you understand me? Mia frowned. But, ever, Lisa said, sharper than she meant to. No one is your daddy. You have me. That's enough. Mia's bottom lip trembled. Okay, she whispered. The guilt hit like a punch. Lisa knelt fast and pulled her in. Hey. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it like that. You didn't do anything wrong. You hear me? You didn't do anything wrong. Mia nodded against her shoulder. Lisa held her tighter. Her heart wouldn't slow down. She had spent years building a life that was quiet and invisible. Cash-only babysitters, apartments under short-term leases, no photos on social media, no Facebook under her real name, no family holidays, no visitors. Nobody knew her routine. Nobody knew her child. That was the point. That was why they were still okay. And with one phone call, one tiny voice, all of it was gone. She pressed her forehead to Mia's hair and whispered, more to herself than to her daughter, "What did you just pull us into?" The building didn't look like an office. Offices had parking lots and badge scanners and fake plants in the lobby. This building had black glass, silent elevators, and a man with a gun under his jacket standing outside the door just to look at who was walking in. Lisa held Mia's hand so tight she worried she'd leave marks. "Stay with me," she whispered. "I am with you," Mia said like it was obvious. The elevator ride up felt too smooth, too quiet. Every floor number glowed in a neat white line, and with each soft ding, Lisa thought, turn around, take the stairs, lie, say she got sick, say you can't make it, say anything. But her feet didn't move, because fear wasn't the only thing sitting in her stomach. There was something else, something she hated herself for, curiosity. She had worked for this man for almost a year. She had never met him in person. Her whole job was being trusted from a distance, taking calls, passing messages, moving money the way she was told to move it, when she was told to move it. Never asking questions, never repeating names. She had heard his voice maybe 12 times. People respected him without making eye contact. People were afraid of him without saying why. The elevator doors slid open. 2 men in dark suits were waiting in the hall. No smiles, no small talk. The one on the left had a scar along his jaw and a bulge under his jacket that wasn't a wallet. "Ms. Jones," the one on the right said. Hearing her name in his mouth was its own message. They knew exactly who she was. Lisa swallowed. Yes, this way. They didn't touch her. They didn't touch Mia. They didn't hurry her. They didn't have to. The hallway opened into a wide room with floor-to-ceiling glass looking out over the water. Not the city. The water. The whole coastline lay out there like money. Lisa had a second to think it was beautiful. Then she saw him. He was standing by the window with his back to them. Black shirt, sleeves rolled to his forearms, broad shoulders, clean lines, no tie, no jacket, no nerves. He didn't turn when they came in. He just said, calm, "Leave us." The 2 men disappeared like they'd been erased. Lisa's heart slammed in her chest. For 1 second, she wanted to run. "Mommy," Mia whispered, pressing closer to her leg. "Is that?" Shh, Lisa breathed. The man at the window finally turned, and Lisa understood instantly why people lowered their voices when they said his name. Marco Kanti did not look like chaos. He looked like order. Dark hair cut neat. Beard trimmed close like he never let himself go even a little. Strong jaw. Straight nose. Eyes she couldn't read from across the room. Tall, solid, controlled. He didn't look sloppy. He didn't look unpredictable. He looked like he expected the world to listen when he spoke. That was worse. That was so much worse. His gaze landed on Lisa's face first, not on her chest, not on her legs. Her face. He held her there for one long second, like he was memorizing her, like he'd been waiting. Then his eyes moved down to the little girl, half hidden behind her leg. Mia did something Lisa didn't expect. She smiled, not scared, not shy. Just open. Hi, Mia said. Marco didn't smile back, but something in his face shifted. Slightly, almost nothing. He crouched down to Mia's height, slow, like he didn't want to startle her. It was so careful Lisa felt her breath catch. What's your name? He said quietly. Mia. You're 5. Her eyes went wide. How'd you know? I listen, he said. She giggled. Lisa felt slightly sick. Marco's gaze barely flicked up, but it landed on her like a touch. She's comfortable, he said. Lisa swallowed. She talks to everybody. I tell her not to, but she doesn't talk to everybody like this, he said. That low voice, that certainty. Heat crawled up Lisa's neck. Look, Mr. Kanti, about the phone. You live on East Harbor, he said. Lisa's blood turned to ice. Her voice came out thin. How do you... 1 bedroom, he continued evenly. Locks that wouldn't stop a teenager. Neighbors who mind their own business because they don't want trouble. You take the trash out after 11 because you don't like being in the hallway when the man in 2B is awake. You walk your daughter on the side of you that isn't facing the street. Lisa couldn't move. Her heart pounded so hard she thought she might pass out. You've been watching us. Mia looked up at her. Mommy? It's okay, baby. Lisa whispered automatically, eyes never leaving his. It's fine. Marco rose to his full height. He was even taller up close. Lisa felt small in front of him. She hated that feeling. She hated that her hands were sweating. She hated that his presence did something to her body she did not consent to. Why? She asked softly. Why are you watching us? You work for me, he said simply. That's not an answer. Yes, it is, he said. Lisa lifted her chin. Is this the part where you tell me I don't get to be offended because you're protecting your business and you don't trust me? No, Marco said quietly. This is the part where I tell you I didn't know about her. His eyes flicked to Mia, soft, just for a second, then back to Lisa. Hard again. You kept a secret from me, he said. It wasn't like that, Lisa whispered. You didn't mention a child. It wasn't relevant to my work, she said. I don't bring her near anything that touches you. I move money. I send messages. I'm clean. She's clean. She's not part of this. Marco stepped closer. Lisa didn't back up, but it took effort. He looked down at her the way a man studies a threat, or a prize. You said she doesn't have a father, Marco said. Why? Her mouth was dry. Because she doesn't. That's not an answer. Her jaw tightened. It's the only one you're getting. With respect. A slow beat passed between them. His eyes were so dark up close she couldn't tell what color they were. Brown, maybe. Black under this light. Focused. Sharp. Not bored. Not casual. Then his voice dropped. She called me Daddy. Lisa felt her stomach twist. She didn't mean it. I wasn't talking about what she meant, he said. I was talking about what happens when a 5-year-old calls the wrong man that word. Lisa stared at him. Are you threatening me? No, Marco said. I'm telling you the truth. You put a target on both of you this morning. Her throat tightened. I didn't. People hear things, he said, cutting her off. People repeat them. People guess. People run their mouths. People looking for leverage start asking, "Who's the kid the Kanti girl called him daddy?" You understand me now? Lisa's skin went cold. She hadn't thought of that. God, she hadn't thought of that. "The men who don't like me," Marco said, "just found out there's a 5-year-old girl in this city who might be attached to me. That is a problem. For you." Lisa swallowed. "And for you." He shook his head once. "No, not for me." His jaw flexed. His voice dropped even lower. "For them." Lisa felt a shiver run all the way down her spine. He meant it. He meant it in the most literal way. He wasn't worried about himself. He was promising violence on anyone who tried to get near her daughter. For one terrifying second, Lisa felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Relief. It scared her more than anything else in the room. "This can't happen again," she whispered. "I'll keep her away from the phone. I'll keep her out of sight. I'll make sure." "No," he said. Her eyes snapped up. "Excuse me? You won't be keeping her away from me," he said. "You'll be keeping her next to you, at all times, with me watching." Lisa blinked. "I'm sorry, are you saying—" "You don't leave that apartment again without security," Marco said. "You don't take her to school alone. You don't go to grocery stores alone. You don't open your door unless the face matches mine or a face I send. You don't walk down a hallway with blind corners. You don't sit with your back to a window in a public place. You don't do anything I didn't approve first." She just stared at him. "I'm not asking," he added, calm. And then it hit her all at once. What he was really saying, he wasn't just protecting his business. He was claiming them. Her pulse tripped. "You don't own us," she said quietly. His eyes locked on hers, and Lisa felt it when the air in the room changed. Not louder, tighter, smaller. Like the rest of the world had just been pushed out, and now it was only his voice, his heat, his attention on her. "That's what you don't understand yet," Marco said, voice like a promise. Lisa's breath caught. Mia tugged on Lisa's sleeve, oblivious. "Mommy?" Lisa forced herself to answer without looking away from him. "Yeah, baby? Can we go home now?" Home. Lisa felt the word like a bruise. Because in that second, with Marco Kanti standing inches in front of her and Mia pressed against her leg, she understood something she did not want to understand. They didn't have one anymore. Not the way it was. Not the way it used to be. Not after this. Her old life was gone. She swallowed and nodded without letting him see her fear. "Yeah, baby. We're going soon." Marco's gaze dropped to Mia, then lifted back to Lisa. "When you go," he said quietly, "you'll have a car. 2 men. My men." Lisa shook her head fast. "No, absolutely not. No, you can't just—" "Yes," Marco said. "You don't get to make that call. I just did." Lisa felt anger spark, sharp and fast. "You don't get to walk into my life and decide the rules." Marco leaned in, close enough that she felt his breath against her cheek. His voice dropped to something only she could hear. "I'm not walking into your life, Lisa," he said. "Your life walked into mine when she called me daddy." Her chest tightened. He held her eyes. Then he said, soft, dangerous, final, "And I don't let anyone touch what's mine." The room felt too small. Lisa couldn't tell if she wanted to slap him or lean into him. Maybe both. Her heart pounded. Her voice shook. "Who told her?" Marco's brow moved. "What?" Lisa swallowed hard. "Mia. She doesn't just ask strangers if they're her father. She's 5, but she's not. She's not like that. She doesn't do that. Somebody told her something. Somebody showed her something. Somebody put that idea in her head." For the first time since she walked in, something cold slid through Marco's expression. "What are you saying?" he asked quietly. "I didn't tell her," Lisa whispered. "So who did?" Marco went still. And in that stillness, Lisa felt something new start. Not fear, not attraction. Something worse. A shift. Like a line had just been crossed, and there was no way back. His voice, when it came, was calm. Too calm. "Take her home," he said. "Pack a bag. Nothing heavy. Clothes, documents, whatever matters. You're leaving that apartment tonight." Lisa shook her head. "We're not." "Lisa," he said. Her pulse jumped. "You will do exactly what I tell you to do," he said softly. "You will not argue. You will not stall. You will not try to protect your pride instead of your child. You will go home. You will pack. You will wait. And you will open that door for my men when they knock. Do you understand me?" "Lisa," he said again. Her throat closed. She nodded. "Say it," he said. Her eyes flashed. "I understand." "Good," he said. Then he leaned in, even closer. Close enough that she smelled his cologne, clean, warm, expensive. Close enough that his next words weren't a threat. They were a promise. "I'll find out who put that word in her mouth," he said. "And then I'll make sure they never do it again." Lisa didn't lock the door. She barricaded it. The cheap deadbolt was turned. The extra chain was slid in place. A chair was shoved under the handle. The lights were off. The curtains were closed. Every sound in the hallway made her jump. Mia didn't notice any of it. She sat on the couch in mismatched socks, drawing on scrap printer paper with a pink marker and humming something from a cartoon. Safe. Happy. Untouched by the shaking in her mother's hands. Lisa kept pacing. "Throw clothes in a bag," he'd said. "Nothing heavy. Documents. Wait. That was almost worse than a direct order. Direct orders were clean. This wasn't clean. This was something else. This was, you belong to me now. Act like it." Her mind replayed everything from that office. You don't leave that apartment again without security. You don't sit with your back to a window. You don't move unless I know where you are. You're mine. Her body still hadn't recovered from the way he'd leaned in, how close his mouth had been, how calm he sounded when he said those words. It wasn't performance. It wasn't ego. He believed it. That scared her more than the guns. The toaster clicked and made her flinch. "Mommy?" Mia peeked over the back of the couch. "Why are you walking in circles?" "I'm not," Lisa lied. "You are." Lisa forced a smile. "I'm just thinking about what we need to pack for our little trip." "Are we going on vacation?" Mia asked, lighting up. "Like the beach? Do they have a pool?" Lisa swallowed. Her throat was tight. "Something like that." "Can I bring Mr. Bunny?" "You're definitely bringing Mr. Bunny." That got an approving nod. "Okay, then I'm good." That was what broke Lisa a little. The way a 5-year-old could treat being moved under armed protection like a sleepover, like it was nothing, like it was normal. God, what had she done to this kid's life? A soft sound interrupted the thought. Paper. Something sliding against the floor by the door. Lisa's stomach turned to ice. She crossed the room fast, yanked Mia gently off the couch and whispered, "Baby, go to the bedroom. Right now. Take Mr. Bunny, lock the door, stay quiet." Mia blinked. "Mommy." "Now, Mia." Mia ran. Lisa waited until she heard the soft click of the bedroom door, then moved for the front door. Her heart pounded hard enough it made her feel a little lightheaded. She pressed her ear to the door. Silence in the hallway. Nothing. Nobody talking. Nobody breathing. No footsteps. Just the low hum of the crappy fluorescent light outside and somebody's TV muffled through drywall. She didn't open the door. Not stupid. She just crouched, grabbed the folded envelope that had been slid under it, and hurried backward into the kitchen where there was at least a drawer full of knives and a clear view of the hallway. Her hands shook. Her name wasn't on it. No name at all. Her stomach twisted. Her first instinct was to call 911. Her second instinct stopped her. Police meant questions. Questions meant reports. Reports meant her name on paper. Paper meant trails. Her third instinct was the one she followed. She grabbed the work phone. He picked up on the first ring. "Lisa," he said. That voice, calm, direct, like he had expected her. Her chest felt tight. There's an envelope under my door. Read it to me. She stared at it. It felt like it was buzzing in her hand. Lisa, he said again, slower. She took a breath and opened it. It wasn't a letter. It was a photo. Her vision blurred for a second. It was Mia. Mia at the playground on 5th Street. Ponytail messy. Hands on the monkey bars. Laughing. Yesterday. Lisa knew it was yesterday because of the t-shirt. The purple one with the glitter heart. Mia had begged to wear it even though it wasn't clean. Lisa had let her because they'd only be out for half an hour and because saying no to small things felt cruel when she had to say no to big ones. Someone had taken that picture. From behind the fence. Close enough to zoom. Close enough for accidental to not be possible. There was writing on the back. 3 words in black ink. She looks like him. Lisa's stomach lurched. Her knees nearly gave. Lisa, Marco said, still calm. Talk to me. Her voice cracked. Someone was watching her. How recent? He asked. Yesterday, she whispered. Describe the photo. She swallowed. She's on the playground. Purple shirt. The back says... She couldn't finish. Lisa, he said. It says she looks like him. Silence. But not empty silence. The kind that hummed. Like a wire pulled tight. Lisa pressed her hand to her mouth to keep it from shaking. Marco's voice, when it came, was not calm anymore. Pack a bag, he said. Now. A small noise escaped her throat. We're all ready. Listen to me, he said, voice suddenly sharper, cutting through her panic. You are not safe where you are. You understand me? Somebody got close enough to take that photo and close enough to touch your door. You are done there. Do you hear me? You are done. Her eyes burned. I told you I keep her away from... You don't have to explain yourself, he cut in. You don't defend your motherhood to me, Lisa. Do you understand? That threw her. Because nobody had ever said that to her before. Nobody had ever told her she didn't have to defend the way she was raising her kid. Her voice went small. Marco, I'm already on my way, he said. Her heart stopped. What? I told you to wait for my men, he said. I changed my mind. You're getting me. Lisa's throat tightened. No, absolutely not. You can't come here. You cannot show up at my... Lisa, he said. That was all. Her pulse jumped in her neck. Get your daughter, he said. Pack 1 bag each, clothes for 2 nights, any documents you don't want to lose, cash, medicine, leave everything else. What about... There is nothing else, he said. Her eyes stung. We can't just run every time we're scared. We can't keep living like... This isn't scared, he said. This is hunted. She shut her mouth. Her hands wouldn't stop shaking. Lock the door, he said. Stay away from the windows. You open for me and only me. Anyone else, you don't make a sound. You don't even breathe loud. You hear me? Yes, she whispered. Say it. I hear you. Good girl, he said, low. Her knees almost gave out. The line clicked dead. Lisa lowered the phone very slowly. For a second, she just stood in that little kitchen and felt her whole body vibrate. Good girl. It should have made her angry. It didn't. It made her feel steady, held. She hated that. She hated needing that. She shoved that feeling down and moved. Mia? She called, trying to keep her voice from shaking. The bedroom door cracked open. Mia's eyes peeked through. Is it safe? Lisa swallowed. Yes, baby, it's safe. We're okay. Listen, we're going to go sleep somewhere else tonight, okay? Mia's eyes lit up. Vacation. Something like that, Lisa said softly. But we have to pack fast. I can pack fast, Mia said very seriously, running to her tiny dresser. Lisa grabbed the beat-up duffel from under the bed, yanked open drawers and started filling. Shirts, leggings, socks, pajamas. The soft blanket Mia couldn't sleep without. A folded Ziploc with cash Lisa had been keeping for emergencies that felt a lot smaller than this. She hesitated at the shoebox under the bed. Birth certificate, social security card, hospital bracelet from the night Mia was born, a sonogram photo. Her stomach twisted. No, not that one. She didn't need a reminder of that man's face in her house right now. Not when she could still hear Marco's voice in her ear. Who's him, Lisa? Who do they think she looks like? She shoved the documents in the bag and forced it to zip. She checked the hallway. Still quiet. She checked the peephole. Nobody there. Her heart was beating too fast. She felt a little dizzy. Her mouth was dry. Mia, shoes, she whispered. I can't find my purple ones, Mia whispered back. Black ones are fine. Mia nodded solemnly. Okay. Lisa crouched in front of her and tied one little sneaker then the other. Look at me. Mia did. You stay behind me, okay? You hold my shirt if you have to. You don't talk to anybody unless I say it's okay. And if I tell you to run, don't run, Mia said, repeating the rule like she'd practiced it. Freeze and cover my head. Lisa swallowed. That hurt. That hurt more than anything else tonight. Yeah, she whispered. Good girl. Mia beamed. Lisa's eyes burned again. There was a knock. 3 short. Pause. 2. Lisa's breath caught. Her chest went tight. That wasn't their normal neighbor's knock. That wasn't, hey, your package got left at my door. That wasn't, turn down the TV. That was code. Her mouth went dry. She slid the chain off. She pulled the chair away. Her hand hovered on the lock. Baby, she whispered. Behind me. She opened the door 6 inches. Black shirt, rolled sleeves. Forearms marked in faint ink that wasn't for decoration. Eyes that locked right on hers. Marco Kanti filled her doorway like he'd been built to stand there. He didn't force the door. He didn't come in without permission. He didn't raise his voice. He just took her in, head to toe, fast and precise, the packed bag in her hand, the way her shoulders shook, the way her mouth was a little unsteady. Then his jaw tightened. Who scared you? He asked quietly. No hello, no small talk, no are you okay? Who scared you? Lisa swallowed. Someone left a picture of my daughter under my door. He held out his hand. Lisa hesitated. His eyes didn't move from hers. Give it to me. She passed it over. He looked at the front of the photo, then flipped it, read the message on the back. His eyes went darker. When he finally spoke, his voice was steady, but it wasn't calm. Get in the car, he said. Lisa blinked. Excuse me? You're done here, he said. I can't just... Yes, he said. Lisa stared at him. You can't walk in here and decide my entire life in 2 sentences. I have a lease, I have neighbors, Mia's school. Mia doesn't go back to that school, he said. Something in Lisa snapped. Who the hell do you think you are? She hissed, shoving the door open the rest of the way and stepping into the hall, chest heaving. Because I know what people call you, but your name doesn't give you the right to tell me where my daughter can sleep or what door she can walk through. Like you suddenly get to be... Her father? He asked. She froze. Her throat closed. Her heart dropped somewhere near her knees. He didn't look smug when he said it. He didn't look amused. He looked furious, like the word itself hurt, like the fact that anyone else might try to claim it made him angry. Lisa's voice shook. You don't get to say that. Yes, he said. No, she whispered. Yes, he repeated, lower. Lisa felt her pulse in her mouth. You're not... Lisa, he said quietly. Look at me. She didn't want to. She did anyway. He stepped in, closing the distance between them. Close enough that she had to tilt her chin up to hold his eyes. Close enough that her body reacted before her brain did. Heat shot straight through her, fast and embarrassing. He smelled like clean soap, warm skin, and something expensive she couldn't name. His voice dropped to a low, private line meant only for her. Somebody tried to mark your daughter as leverage, he said. Do you understand what that means? Her stomach twisted. It means, he cut in. They think they can take her. It means they think they can take you. It means they think they can touch what works for me and walk away breathing. Lisa's chest rose and fell. His jaw flexed. He leaned in closer. That's not going to happen. Her lips parted. He wasn't shouting. He wasn't posturing. He was giving a vow, and she could feel it. You think I'm doing this because I like control, he said softly. Because I enjoy telling you what to do. I don't care how it looks to you right now, Lisa. This is not about pride. This is not about ego. This is not about me proving I can move you like furniture. Her breath shook. This is about the fact that the second that picture existed, he said, you stopped being optional. Her heart pounded so hard it almost hurt. You and that kid behind you, he said, voice steady, final, are officially my problem now. Something in her chest pulled tight. Dangerous. Wrong. Too fast. Too much. And exactly what her bones had been begging to hear for years. He lowered his head a fraction more. Get in the car. Lisa stared at him. Her voice came out quiet. Where are you taking us? His answer was simple, direct, and it hit her harder than anything else he'd said. To a place nobody touches what's mine, he said. Her breath caught. He straightened, looked past her into the apartment, and raised his voice just enough for Mia to hear. Hey, sweetheart, he called like he'd known her forever. Mia's head popped around Lisa's hip. Hi. His mouth softened. Just for her. You ready to go on that sleepover? Mia lit up. Do you have a pool? Yes, he said without missing a beat. And pancakes. Mia gasped like this was the greatest offer ever made to any child. Mommy, he has pancakes. Lisa closed her eyes for half a second. God help her. When she opened them again, Marco was still watching her. Not Mia. Her. Studying her face like she was now the situation. Not the apartment. Not the hallway. Not the photo. Lisa, he said quietly. Last time. Don't make me pick you up and carry you. Because I will. Heat flashed low in her stomach. She hated that he could do that to her with one sentence. She hated it almost as much as she wanted to find out if he meant it. She swallowed hard. Fine. Something flickered in his eyes. Satisfaction, relief, possession, all of it. He took the bag from her shoulder without asking and slung it over his own. He didn't look winded. He didn't look strained. He looked like he'd just made a decision and the rest of the world would adjust. Good, he said. He turned slightly, like he was going to lead them out, then stopped and leaned in one last time. His mouth brushed almost, against her ear. From now on, he murmured, voice low enough to shake right through her. You breathe when I tell you to breathe. Lisa's pulse went wild. Her knees felt weak. Her voice came out a whisper. You can't talk to me like that. Yes, he said again, calm. I can. He pulled back, eyes on hers, and what she saw there made her chest go tight. Not patience at all. Claim. Real claim. This man had decided something and she wasn't sure she could undo it even if she tried. Let's go, he said. And Lisa realized, standing barefoot in her own doorway with her daughter pressed to her leg and her whole life stuffed in a single duffel bag, that she was already gone. They moved like a unit. Marco in front, Lisa in the middle, holding Mia's hand. Two men behind them, quiet and wide and watchful. Nobody in the hallway asked questions. Nobody even opened a door. Maybe that was normal for this building. Maybe it was the way Marco filled the space. Maybe it was the kind of silence fear buys. Outside, a black SUV idled at the curb. Of course it was black. Of course it was tinted. Of course it looked like money. Marco opened the back door himself. Not the guy in the suit. Not the driver. Marco. He held the door and waited for Lisa and Mia to climb in first. That detail did something to her. Something she did not have the energy to unpack. Mia bounced into the back seat like this was the best day of her life. Do I get pancakes now? In the morning, Marco said. What about the pool? In the morning. Mia sighed, dramatic. Okay, but I want syrup. You'll get syrup. Mia nodded, satisfied. Lisa stared at him. You're good with her, she said before she could stop herself. Marco looked at her like the sentence confused him. Then he got in and shut the door. The SUV pulled away from the curb smooth and fast, not jerking, not drawing attention. Lisa watched her block disappear through the tinted glass. that crappy apartment, that flickering hallway light, that door she'd triple-checked every night. Gone. Her throat tightened. Her voice dropped. "Where are we going?" Marco didn't answer right away. When he did, his tone had changed. Softer, lower, closer to honest. "Somewhere you sleep," he said. "All night, without getting up to check the door." Her chest squeezed. She looked at him. He was watching her now. Not the street, not his men. Her. Like she was an equation he had every intention of solving. And in that second, with the city sliding past and Mia yawning against her side and Marco's heat bleeding across the space between them, Lisa understood something terrifying. She was falling. She hadn't agreed. She hadn't given permission. She hadn't said he could have that part of her. But her body already trusted him. Her daughter already trusted him. And if she was honest, completely honest, the moment he had stepped into her doorway and said, "Who scared you?" something inside her had relaxed for the first time in years. That scared her more than the men in the other SUV. Marco's voice pulled her back. "Lisa." She blinked. "Yeah? I'm going to ask you something," he said quietly. "You're going to tell me the truth." Her stomach went tight. "What is it?" "Your daughter's father," he said. "Is he alive?" Her mouth went dry. Air stuck in her throat. Her heartbeat spiked so hard it almost hurt. She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. Marco watched her face for one long second. He nodded once. "Thought so," he said softly. Lisa swallowed. "He's not in the picture." "I didn't ask if he's in the picture," Marco said. "I asked if he's alive." Her pulse pounded. "Why does that matter?" His eyes didn't leave hers. "Because if he is, that means there's a man out there who thinks he has a claim on something I just told you is mine." Lisa's breath caught. Her voice shook. "Marco." "And if that's true," Marco said in that same calm, controlled tone, "then tonight is going to get a lot louder than pancakes." Her stomach dropped. Her fingers tightened around Mia's small hand. "Why?" she whispered. He leaned in just enough that only she could hear the answer. "Because I don't share," he said. The safe house didn't feel like a house. It felt like a secret. It was set back from the road, behind a long stretch of trees and a steel gate that opened without sound. Lisa didn't know where they were. She only knew that it took an hour of silent driving, 2 security checkpoints, and 1 code entry to get there. When the SUV finally stopped, Mia was asleep on Lisa's lap. Marco opened the door himself, scooped the little girl up without asking, and carried her like she weighed nothing. Lisa followed, clutching the duffel bag like armor. Inside, the house was quiet, too quiet, the kind of silence that money buys, thick walls, soft lights, air that smelled like cedar and rain. Marco nodded to one of his men, then looked at Lisa. "Upstairs, 2nd door on the right. That room's yours and hers. Bathroom inside. You'll find everything you need." Lisa's voice was small. "Everything." He met her eyes. "You don't have to thank me. You don't have to like it. You just have to stay alive." Then he turned away, carrying Mia up the stairs like it was natural, like he'd done it before. Lisa stood in the doorway of the guest room, watching him lay her daughter on the bed. He pulled the blanket up to Mia's chin, brushed her hair back with a tenderness that didn't match the rumors she'd heard about him. When he straightened, their eyes met. For the first time, he looked almost human. "She's safe here," he said quietly. Lisa crossed her arms. "You can't just decide that." He studied her face. "If I don't decide it, who will?" She didn't answer, because he was right. Morning came slow. The smell of coffee filled the house, the expensive kind that didn't come from a grocery store. Lisa padded into the kitchen barefoot, hair messy, wearing one of the plain gray shirts she'd found in the dresser. She wasn't expecting to see him. Marco stood by the counter, sleeves rolled, a pan in one hand, flipping pancakes with a focus that looked ridiculous on a man like him. Lisa froze. "You cook?" He didn't look up. "For her. She'll eat anything." "I noticed," he said dryly. "Last night she asked if cereal counted as dinner." Lisa's lips twitched. It does. He glanced over. Not in my house. Her stomach turned. This isn't your house. It's a cage. He set the spatula down. Then call it what you need to, Lisa. Just don't walk out of it. She swallowed. You think locking us up makes us safe? No, he said, finally meeting her eyes. I think it makes you alive long enough for me to handle the people who want you gone. Her pulse jumped. You still haven't told me who they are. He exhaled slowly. Because I'm trying not to scare you. Too late, she said softly. A beat of silence passed. Then he said, You're right. You deserve to know. He poured 2 mugs of coffee, slid one toward her, and leaned against the counter. His forearms were bare, veins and black ink visible, Latin words wrapped around scars. Someone inside my circle sold information, he said. Names, routes, transfers. When my men found the leak, your name was on the list. Yours and your daughter's. Lisa's chest tightened. Why us? I didn't know until yesterday, he said. You weren't just a voice on a phone, Lisa. You were the one managing the wires, the messages. They assumed if they took you, they could reach me. Her throat closed. So this is my fault? No. His voice sharpened. It's theirs. They thought they could use a mother and a child as leverage. That's the kind of men I deal with. Lisa looked away. You keep saying men like them. What about men like you? Marco didn't move. I don't steal children, Lisa. I protect what I claim. Her breath caught. We're not yours. His eyes darkened. You are until this is over. The air between them tightened again. Lisa wanted to hate him, but hate was easy, and nothing about him was easy. He took a slow step toward her. You don't have to trust me. Just let me keep you breathing. Her voice was low. And what do you get? He stopped a foot away. Peace. Peace? She echoed, incredulous. He looked at her, really looked. You think I get any? You think men like me sleep at night? I haven't slept in a year, Lisa. Then I walk into your apartment and see a kid smiling at me like I'm not a monster. And for 10 seconds I remembered what silence felt like. Her heart twisted. Don't do this. Don't make me feel sorry for you. I'm not asking for that. Then what do you want? His jaw tightened. You safe, her safe, and whoever's behind this gone. Lisa's voice trembled. And after that? Marco's eyes flicked to her mouth. His voice dropped. Then I figure out what I'm supposed to do with you. Her pulse went wild. He took one more step, close enough that she could smell coffee and cologne and danger, all mixed. Lisa whispered, You can't just claim people. Watch me, he said. Hours later, Mia was napping upstairs. Lisa wandered the hallway, restless. The house was huge, full of empty rooms that looked too clean to belong to real people. When she reached the study, she stopped. Marco was inside, sleeves rolled again, gun disassembled on the desk beside his phone. He looked up when she stepped in. Lost? He asked. Just walking, she said, making sure there's not a trapdoor I can use to escape. He smirked faintly. There isn't. She leaned against the doorframe. That's disappointing. He finished reassembling the gun with quiet efficiency, then looked up. Why'd you really come in? Lisa hesitated. Because I'm tired of waiting for you to tell me what's coming. Marco studied her for a long moment, then slid his phone across the desk. Look. The screen showed a photo, security footage, a man standing outside a convenience store, blurry but tall, wearing a black jacket. Lisa's heart stopped. She knew that posture, that profile. Her voice came out strangled. That's impossible. He's alive, Marco said quietly. Her knees nearly gave out. No. Your daughter's father, he said. He's been working with the same people who want me dead. They found out you're alive. They found out about her. Lisa pressed her hands to her mouth. Why would he? Because men like him don't lose, Marco said. And you were the only thing he ever lost. Tears stung her eyes. You can't. You don't know him. I know the look in his eyes, Marco said. That's not love, Lisa. That's ownership. She shook her head, pacing backward. You're lying. You want me to stay scared so I don't run. Run where? He asked softly. He'll find you. They all will. She glared at him. Then maybe I should have never answered that damn phone. He stood, fast enough to make her freeze. Maybe you should have, he said. Because if you hadn't, he would have found you alone. Lisa felt her chest ache. And you think you can stop him? Marco's eyes softened for the first time that day. No, he said quietly. I know I will. He took another step closer. She didn't back up this time. You don't have to believe me, he said, his voice low, steady, dangerous. Just believe this. No one touches you or that kid while I'm breathing. Her breath trembled. You'd kill for us. He didn't blink. I already have. Lisa's heart stuttered. She should have been terrified. She should have screamed. Instead, her knees felt weak, and her chest ached with something that wasn't fear anymore. Marco reached out and brushed his thumb across her cheek. Slow, deliberate. You're not a problem, Lisa, he murmured. You're mine. And for one reckless, impossible second, she let herself believe it. The storm came in before dawn. Not thunder, not lightning, men. Lisa woke to the sound of engines outside the safe house, faint but wrong. Marco was already up. She didn't hear him moving, didn't hear doors, didn't hear a word. Just the quiet rhythm of someone who'd learned to live ready. When she stepped into the hallway, he was pulling a gun from a drawer. Barefoot, shirt half-buttoned, eyes sharp. Go back inside, he said. Marco. He turned his head just slightly. Now Lisa. Her chest went tight. The last time someone had said her name like that, it hadn't been a threat. It had been a promise. She backed into the room and sat on the bed beside Mia, who was still half asleep, clutching Mr. Bunny. Mommy? The little girl whispered. It's okay, baby. Just stay still. Lisa kept her voice calm, even though her pulse was chaos. Outside, a door slammed. Voices. A barked command. Then quiet again. Minutes later, Marco came back in, calm like nothing had happened. He didn't say what he saw. He didn't have to. The line of his jaw told her everything. They were watching the road, he said. We're leaving. Now. Lisa grabbed the bag. Where? My place, he said. The real one. Her stomach dropped. The one they all know about. The one nobody's stupid enough to touch. The drive was long, silent, tense. Mia slept in the back seat again, her head on Lisa's lap. Marco drove himself this time. No guards, no escorts, just him, the road, and a silence thick enough to choke on. Lisa wanted to ask if this was how it always was for him. Danger, blood, hiding people he cared about behind walls. But she didn't. She just watched the city disappear in the rearview mirror. When the car finally turned off the main highway, she saw it. The house wasn't a house. It was a fortress dressed in glass. Steel gates. Long drive. Ocean beyond the cliffs. The kind of view that didn't feel real. Marco stopped the car near the front steps and killed the engine. He looked at her, not like a boss, not like a protector, like a man who'd made up his mind. You're staying here, he said, until I say otherwise. Lisa laughed once, low and tired. You're aware that sounds like kidnapping. He met her eyes. Then call it protection. That night, Lisa stood in the guest bathroom wrapped in a towel, steam on the mirror, hair dripping. Her hands trembled just enough that she gripped the counter until her knuckles went white. She hadn't stopped replaying what he'd said, the way he'd looked at her when he told her she wasn't optional. She didn't hear the door open, only the quiet knock on the frame. Lisa. Her heart jumped. Marco, Door's open, he said quietly. She hesitated. I didn't invite you in. I didn't ask permission, he said. When she looked up, he was there in the doorway, wearing a dark t-shirt and nothing on his face to hide the exhaustion. What do you want? She whispered. His voice dropped. You shaking like that? It's not fear. Not anymore. Lisa's breath hitched. Don't start this. I already did. He stepped inside. Slow, steady, deliberate. He moved like he knew how dangerous he looked, like he wanted her to notice. Lisa's back hit the counter. You think you can fix everything by touching it? No, he said, stopping inches from her. But I can stop pretending I don't want to. Her breath trembled. And then what? Then we deal with it. She stared at him. The man she was supposed to hate, supposed to fear, the man who made the city bleed and somehow made her heart slow down at the same time. His hand came up, brushing a drop of water from her collarbone, his fingers warm against her skin. Tell me she's yours again, he said softly. Lisa frowned. What? Mia, he said. Say it. I need to hear you say it. She's mine, Lisa whispered. Say it again. She's mine. His eyes closed for a second, like that meant something only he understood. When he opened them again, he looked broken and dangerous all at once. She's yours, he said quietly. But she called me Daddy first. Lisa's breath caught. Do you know what that does to a man like me? He asked, voice rough. A man who's never had anything innocent touch him without wanting something back. Her voice shook. Marco, stop. He didn't. I can't. You're in my house. She's asleep down the hall, and I can't stop thinking that the world tried to hurt both of you, and that I want to be the man who makes sure it never happens again. Her hands were trembling, but she didn't back away. That's not how love works. He exhaled. Maybe not for most people, but this... He reached up, fingers tracing her jaw. This doesn't feel like a choice. The air between them burned. Lisa's voice broke. You don't get to... He kissed her. It wasn't gentle. It wasn't asking. It was desperate, honest, years of restraint snapping in one clean motion. Her hands went to his chest, meaning to push him back, but they didn't. They stayed there, gripping, pulling. When he finally broke the kiss, he rested his forehead against hers, both of them shaking. Lisa whispered, What are we doing? He answered, Surviving. Later, she found herself in his bed, not from fear, but from something she couldn't name. He'd pulled her close, skin warm, heartbeat steady. For the first time in years, Lisa didn't wake up to panic. She woke up to silence. But the peace didn't last. By morning, his phone was ringing, sharp and urgent. Marco sat up fast, listening. His expression changed, from calm to pure steel. What? She asked, voice still rough with sleep. He looked at her, eyes dark. They found us. Lisa froze. Who? Your ex, he said. And the men he works with. Her stomach dropped. How? Doesn't matter. They're coming. He grabbed the gun from the nightstand and stood. Stay with Mia. Don't open any doors. Don't talk to anyone who isn't me. Marco. He turned, voice low but firm. If I don't come back in 5 minutes, you take her and run to the panic room downstairs. Do not look back. Lisa's throat closed. Don't you dare not come back. He looked at her, and for one moment, the boss, the danger, the man everyone feared, was just a man. He brushed his thumb across her lips. I told you, he said softly. I don't let what's mine be touched. Then he walked out. The sound of the front door slamming echoed through the house. Lisa stood frozen in the bedroom, Mia's little hand gripping hers. She didn't know if she was praying for him to live or terrified that he would, because either way, she already belonged to him. The first shot shattered the quiet. Lisa didn't scream. She froze, like every muscle in her body forgot how to move. Mia's hand clutched her arm so tight it hurt. The echo rolled through the hallways, low and distant, followed by the sound of boots and men shouting orders. Mommy? Mia whispered. Lisa dropped to her knees, pulling her daughter close. Shh, baby, quiet. Another shot. Closer this time. Her heart raced so fast she thought she'd pass out. She forced herself to breathe through it. Marco's words echoed in her head. If I don't come back in 5 minutes, run to the panic room. 5 minutes. That was the rule. She glanced at the clock. 30 seconds gone. The gunfire stopped. Then silence, the kind that didn't feel safe. Lisa crept to the door, pressed her ear against it. She could hear footsteps downstairs. Heavy, deliberate, too many. A low voice barked something she couldn't make out. And then another voice. Marco's. Calm. Controlled. Dangerous. I told you to stay out of my house. You think you can hide them, Kanti? Someone sneered. She's mine. You stole what's mine. Lisa's blood ran cold. She knew that voice. The father, her past in human form. The man she thought was dead. The man who used to whisper, "If you ever leave me, I'll find you." Mia whimpered. Lisa covered her mouth gently, whispering, "Don't move." Downstairs, something heavy crashed. A table, a body, she couldn't tell. The man laughed. You think you can keep my kid, Marco? You think she's yours? Marco's voice was quiet. She called me Daddy first. A gunshot. Lisa flinched so hard she hit the wall. Mia started to cry silently, tears streaking down her cheeks. Lisa grabbed her by the shoulders. Look at me. Remember what we practiced? Mia nodded, wiping her eyes. Don't run. Stay small. Stay quiet. Good girl, Lisa whispered. You're so brave. She turned toward the closet, yanked open the false panel Marco had shown her once behind the shelves. A hidden stair. Concrete steps leading down. The panic room. Go, Lisa whispered. Mia hesitated. What about you? Lisa's chest cracked open. I'll be right behind you. She lied. Downstairs, the world was chaos. Lisa could hear men shouting, furniture breaking, the sharp clack of gunfire echoing against marble. She gripped the railing, forced herself to move. When she reached the landing, she saw him. Marco, blood on his shirt, one arm pressed to his side, gun steady in his other hand. His expression didn't waver. He moved like he'd been built for this. Cold precision, silent fury. Every shot deliberate. 2 men down, 1 crawling. 1 running for the door and not fast enough. But the one who mattered, the one with the scar across his cheek and eyes like acid, was still standing. Lisa froze on the stairs. The man smiled when he saw her. Lisa. She couldn't speak. Marco turned his head slightly, enough to see her, and for a split second, she saw panic in his eyes. Get back upstairs, he barked. But it was too late. The man grabbed her, fast, gun to her temple. Marco's whole body went still. Put it down, the man hissed, or she dies. Marco's voice was a growl. You touch her again, you die either way. The man laughed, pressed the gun harder against her head. You think she belongs to you? You think you can take my family? She's not your family, Marco said, calm again. You lost that the day you raised a hand to her. The man sneered. You don't get to decide that. Marco stepped forward, slow, eyes locked on hers. Lisa, he said softly. Breathe. She did. It was the only thing she could do. The man's grip tightened. You think I won't? Marco fired. 1 shot. Straight through the man's wrist. He screamed, dropped the gun, and Lisa stumbled free as Marco lunged forward, catching her and pulling her behind him. Blood hit the floor. The other man staggered, trying to grab his weapon with his left hand. He didn't get the chance. Marco kicked it away and pressed the barrel of his own gun to the man's forehead. You came into my house, Marco said quietly. You pointed a gun at her. The man spat blood. You think she loves you? You're nothing but a... Marco pulled the trigger. Silence. Just like that, it was over. Lisa stood frozen, staring at the body on the floor. Her breath came in shaky bursts. Marco. He turned, eyes soft now, his hand shaking slightly from blood loss. It's done. She stepped closer. You're bleeding. I've had worse. Marco. He stumbled. Lisa caught him before he hit the floor. No, stay with me. You don't get to fall now. He tried to speak, voice low. Is she safe? Mia's in the panic room. He nodded, barely conscious. Good girl. Don't you close your eyes, Lisa said, pressing her hand to his wound. You hear me? You promised you'd keep us safe. He gave a small, tired smile. I did. Her voice broke. Then don't you dare die. His hand found hers, weak but still strong enough to pull her close. Lisa. Yeah? Tell me she's yours again. Lisa's heart cracked. She's mine, she whispered. He smiled faintly. Then she's mine too. And his hand went limp. Marco! She shook him, pressed her palm to his chest, felt the faint, uneven heartbeat. Relief hit her so hard she almost sobbed. He was alive, barely, but alive. By the time the sirens reached the road, the sky was turning pale gray. Lisa sat on the floor beside him, blood drying on her hands, Mia asleep against her shoulder. Marco's men had come back, quiet and efficient, clearing bodies, calling the doctor. He woke just before dawn, groggy, pale, but still Marco. Lisa didn't let go of his hand. When his eyes finally focused, he rasped, "You didn't run." She shook her head, tears slipping down her cheeks. Not this time. He reached up, fingers brushing her face. Good girl, he whispered. Lisa laughed through the tears. You're insane. He smiled weakly. You're still here. I wasn't going to leave you. His voice went soft, raw. Then stay. She leaned down, kissed his forehead. I'm not going anywhere. The house was silent again. No shouting, no gunfire, no blood. Just the steady rhythm of the ocean outside the windows. Lisa sat in the chair beside the bed, still wearing the same shirt she'd been in when the world fell apart. Her hands were wrapped around Marco's, the bandage on his shoulder stark against the sheets. He'd been unconscious for nearly a day. The doctor said the bullet missed the artery by half an inch. Another inch and he'd be gone. Lisa hadn't slept. She didn't dare. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw him falling, bleeding, saying those words, "Tell me she's yours again." Now, in the stillness of dawn, his fingers twitched. She looked up. Marco. His eyes opened slowly, tired, cloudy, but alive. He exhaled, voice rough. You look terrible. She let out a shaky laugh. So do you. He tried to sit up, winced, and fell back. She was instantly at his side. Don't move. You're still healing. He caught her wrist, weak but insistent. You stayed. Her throat closed. Where else would I go? He studied her face, eyes tracing the shadows under her eyes, the worry written across every line. I told you to run, and I told you not to die. That earned the faintest smile. Lisa brushed his hair back from his forehead. Don't do that again. No promises. She glared. I mean it. So do I. For a long moment neither spoke. The tension that used to feel dangerous now felt fragile, precious, real. Marco, she whispered. It's over, isn't it? He nodded slowly. Your ex. The men behind him. Gone. Every last one. Lisa exhaled, shaking. And you? He looked at her, a mix of exhaustion and quiet conviction in his eyes. Still here? She squeezed his hand. Good. Later that afternoon, Mia crept into the room carrying a tray, toast, juice, and a single flower in a glass of water. Doctor said you need food, she announced, climbing onto the bed like she owned the place. Marco smiled faintly. I think the doctor meant soup, not toast. Mommy burned the soup, Mia said seriously. But I made the toast. He nodded. Then it's perfect. Lisa leaned against the doorframe, watching them. The way Mia's laughter filled the room, the way Marco's shoulders relaxed when she hugged him. For the first time, it looked normal. Like they were a family that had simply always been. That night, after Mia was asleep, Lisa stepped out onto the balcony. The air was cool, salty, heavy with the kind of peace she hadn't felt in years. Marco was already there, sitting in the chair with a blanket over his lap, a glass of whiskey untouched beside him. She walked closer. You should be resting. He looked up at her. I rest better when you're near. She smiled faintly. That line would sound a lot smoother if you weren't covered in bandages. Still worked, didn't it? Lisa shook her head, laughing softly. She sat beside him. What now? He was quiet for a moment, eyes fixed on the horizon. You could go. Start over. Somewhere far, somewhere quiet. She studied him. And you? He hesitated. I stay where I belong. Lisa turned toward him. And where's that? He met her eyes. With you. Her heart stuttered. Don't, she whispered. Don't make promises you can't keep. He leaned closer, his voice low, steady. You think I bleed for people I don't intend to keep? Her chest tightened. He reached into his pocket, pulled something out, and placed it in her hand. The small silver necklace, shaped like a key, the one he'd once sent after the first time he called her his responsibility. I had it cleaned, he said. Figured it belonged with the person it was meant for. Lisa turned it over. The engraving was still there. Mia. She swallowed hard. You don't have to prove anything, Marco. He looked at her like she'd missed the point. I'm not proving anything. I'm asking. For what? He stood slowly, walked to her, and stopped close enough that she could feel his warmth through the cool night air. For you, he said simply. For a life that isn't built on running. For mornings where she laughs, and you don't flinch when you hear my name. Her breath caught. That's not easy. I don't want easy, he said. I want real. Lisa blinked back tears. You still think you own us? He smiled faintly. No. He took her hand, pressed it against his chest, right over his heartbeat. You own me. The words broke something open inside her, something heavy that had been sitting there for years. She leaned forward, whispering, Say it, so I can breathe. He didn't ask what she meant. He just said it. You're mine. Her eyes filled. And you're ours. He smiled, small, real, the kind of smile no one in his world had ever seen. Finally. Weeks passed. The mansion didn't feel like a fortress anymore. It felt like home. Mia ran through the halls laughing, barefoot, hair wild. Lisa cooked breakfast with music playing, no more locked doors, no more fear. Marco worked from a smaller office now, away from the noise of the old life. He still had guards, still had power, but there was a lightness in him that hadn't been there before. Some nights, when the house was quiet, Lisa would find him sitting by Mia's room, watching her sleep. She called you Daddy again, Lisa would whisper. He'd smile without looking away. She always will. And Lisa would slip her arms around him from behind, resting her chin on his shoulder. So will I, she'd whisper, and he'd cover her hands with his. Months later, the three of them stood by the ocean behind the house. The sunset turned everything gold. Mia chased waves while Marco stood behind Lisa, his arms wrapped around her waist. She tilted her head back against his chest. Do you ever think about what would have happened if she hadn't answered that phone? He kissed the side of her neck. No. Why not? Because she did. Lisa smiled. That doesn't scare you? It did, he said softly. Now it reminds me that sometimes the wrong call leads you exactly where you're supposed to be. She turned in his arms and looked up at him. You're not supposed to say things like that, Mr. Kanti. He brushed his thumb along her jaw. Then it's good you married me before I learned how to stop. Her laugh caught in her throat. You mean before I learned how to say no? You never really wanted to. She smiled up at him. No, I didn't. The ocean crashed behind them, soft and endless. Marco lowered his head and kissed her. Slow, steady. The kind of kiss that didn't ask or promise, only lived. When they finally pulled apart, he whispered, You're safe now. Lisa nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks. Because of you. He shook his head gently. Because of us. Mia ran up, holding a seashell high like a trophy. Look, Daddy. Marco smiled, taking it. It's perfect. Lisa watched him, the man everyone once feared, now kneeling in the sand beside a 5-year-old, holding seashells like treasure. And she thought, maybe happy endings don't come easy. Maybe they come to people who fight for them. Marco looked up at her, eyes soft, gray in the fading light. You're still shaking, he murmured. Why? Because I keep waiting to wake up. He cupped her face in both hands. Then don't. Stay here. Stay mine. Lisa smiled through the tears. Always. 1 year later. The flower shop on the corner opened at 9 sharp. Lisa unlocked the door, flipped the sign, and smiled as the morning sun poured in. The world outside didn't know her story, didn't know the name Marco Kanti, didn't need to. At home, there was laughter, pancakes, and a man who never missed breakfast. The same man who once ruled the city with fear now tied ribbons on bouquets for his daughter's school projects. Love hadn't saved them. They'd saved each other. And sometimes when the bell above the shop door chimed and she looked up to see him there, sleeves rolled, eyes warm, she still felt her heart skip. He'd smile that quiet smile that started everything and say, "Ready to go home?" And Lisa would answer the same way every time. "I already am." If you enjoy stories like this, take a moment to subscribe to the channel. That's how I'll know you truly liked it. Even if you're watching on your TV, grab a second to join this family of fans who love emotional and heartfelt stories. Your support means everything, and it helps us bring you even more tales like this one.